What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk about SoFi. There's a lot of things happening to SoFi today, both positive and negative. I'm going to be talking about both, give you my take on that, go over some updated data points very relevant to a lot of investors, and tie it all together with some technical analysis at the end. Before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Pop over to my Discord, link in the description below. It's a free chat, a lot of good people, and with all that, let's get right to it. So live ticker going at the very bottom, currently down 6.32%, 25 million for volume, 53.9 is the average, and that is a 6-month average, and 2.8 million shares being purchased by institutions and hedge funds just today alone, and that is on the secondary market. So today is a little bit abnormal, both for the volume and the institutional purchasing. Both are extremely low. So I think that a lot of institutions are taking a step back, largely because of this. So GDP numbers are coming out tomorrow, and right now it is forecasted to be negative 1.5 on a quarter-by-quarter basis. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below, if you think this is going to be positive, negative for the market, and how things are going to turn out. But at the end of the day, I think in reality, if this is better than expected, then we should continue a nice bull run. But obviously, it's hard to see that on a very much red day. But like I said, on the secondary market, there's not necessarily that many institutions purchasing, but this is here on the dark pool. So I've been really monitoring this over the last little bit. So today, as of right now, there's only been 4 transactions, some fairly big if you ask me, nothing substantial, but still 4 big institutional purchasing behind the scenes. By no means what it was yesterday or even necessarily Friday, because I did do a video on this on Friday. This was a very popular stock for institutions on Friday. So today it goes back to the point, just a lot of institutions aren't necessarily willing to get in, most likely as well, like I said, about this. So at the end of the day, there is one thing that's also driving SoFi down significantly, and that is shorts. They are getting very, very bold. So as of right now, it is currently 2.04% up today. So 17, almost 18% short interest. So definitely it was on a little bit more of a downtrend, but it does look like shorts kind of got a little bit more strength today. They are increasing 8.04 million shares. And one thing I find very interesting, typically cost to borrow and short interest are always inverse. So typically when it becomes a little bit more expensive for shorts to maintain their position, short interest goes down. Again, that's in theory. And right now, cost to borrow max 8.27, cost to borrow average 4.3. In general, that's normally around 3%, but since it's increasing a little bit, it's weird to see that, and also short interest increasing. So again, a little bit more of a bear sentiment there, and goes back to the point that shorts are getting very, very bold. They really want SoFi below that $5 mark. And when it comes down to that $5 mark, it's a little bit more skeptical. A lot of people are talking about reverse splits, and technically, I believe it is on July the 12th. That is when their shareholder meeting is. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that vote turns out. But again, I don't really necessarily want to talk on that in this video, but more so I want to talk on this. So news came out about Galileo. So very positive if you ask me. So 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗧 did select them to power their GameFi mobile banking platform. Very positive, especially for SoFi, because SoFi did recently acquire Galileo, which in reality some people don't necessarily like, because I don't believe they're actually turning a full-on profit or going to be benefiting from that transaction until around 2025. But still, when you do an acquisition like that, you're not going to benefit directly straight away anyway. So I'm not necessarily going to go into this in detail, because I'm more particularly a numbers guy, and unfortunately none of the news does explain how much SoFi is going to ultimately benefit. So as of right now, we just see this as positive news. Again, there is no numbers behind it. It does show some stats, basically, that Galileo does say that after their research, they found that 65% of consumers would choose embedded finance solutions to get rewards or discounts, highlighting an opportunity for innovative user experiences and embedded financial solutions. So at the end of the day, that's the only stats that we know, and it goes to show that clearly Galileo is very much going to do a lot of good things in the future, which ultimately will benefit SoFi and us as investors. So overall, that should have been something that gave us a little bit more of a boost today, but unfortunately the broader market just is hating on a lot of different things. So take that how you see that. I'm just going to quickly pop over and do some technical analysis. Before I get into anything, I just want to mention I am not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Looking on the actual chart, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. Looking at momentum, you can tell number of buyers is is down, so retail and presence isn't necessarily getting in. So both institutional and retail presence isn't really getting into SoFi. Stochastic, you can see a start of a deviation, so red line above the black showing a little bit more of a starting of a bearish sentiment. RSI is currently at 40, so fairly neutral. And on the actual chart, looks like we unfortunately are heading a little bit more downwards in this regard, but $5.60, which is exactly where we are, is a very strong pivot point that we really need to watch for. That is our low here, so if we do break below that, theoretically a little bit more of a bearish territory. And going to here, I'm just going to quickly go over some Fibonacci. So right now $5.60, so we are officially at this S1. And similarly, like I just mentioned, if we do close below that, then anticipate we're going to be trading between the S2 and the S1, $4.80 give or take, and $5.50. So in that regard though, this is where we get to a little bit more of a sticky situation, because like I already mentioned about the $5 mark, this possibly could be coming before the shareholder meeting. Again, I don't mean to spread any FUD. You know, in this channel, I like to give the good, the bad, and the ugly. But regardless of whatever happens at the $5 mark, SoFi is still a long-term investment, going to do a lot of good things. You just need to have patience. And I think a lot of people do finally realize that with SoFi. Anyone who has kind of doubts has already gone out, in my own 2 cents, and how I've seen a lot of stock forums and things like that. Because everyone who is commenting realizes that SoFi is a long-term investment. So as should you, because there's going to be a lot of big things, and being a disruptive company in one of the oldest sectors is not an easy task at all. But with all that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said though, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.